What's going on, XRP Army? Welcome to the stream. If you are watching the replay of the stream, go ahead and skip ahead to the 4-minute mark. That's when I'll get everything started. For the meantime, I'm just going to let the stream get buffered in. We do have a lot of things to cover today, lots of news. We crossed the $1 billion in inflows. We're going to cover all that. Crossed the $1 billion asset under management. Brad Garlinghouse pulled the trigger a little too early. But we're going to cover all the news. We're going to cover the $1 billion of inflows. And we're going to cover the chart just like we always do and what to expect next with XRP because we do have a lot of things coming. So that being said, again, if you're watching the replay, go ahead and skip ahead to the 4-minute mark. Otherwise, we're going to be testing things and welcoming people as they come in. We should have a couple of people here in just a minute or so, and then we'll get everything going. You get everything, make sure everything's working correctly here. Let's see. Why is my screen view not loading? I don't like that. Sorry, see, this is why we check. Okay, now it's working. It's just lagging. Okay, perfect. All right. Just needed a minute to get that there. So again, waiting for people to come in. Hopefully people start signing off in the chat here, and we're going to get things started at the 4-minute mark. Just letting the stream buffer in. XRP is up today. We had a nice spike up. We have crossed the $1 billion threshold of assets under management. We've got some new news coming out of different areas. It is a fantastic day for XRP and for crypto. And we will hop into it as soon as we get to the 4-minute mark. Hopefully we have some people coming into the stream. Chat's relatively quiet for us being at 1:45 right now. Hopefully some of the regulars hop in here. And again, it was a little delayed. Let's see here. We got Raul from Dallas. Welcome, Raul. Could you tell me if the audio is doing well, and can you tell me how many people are in the stream? I just want to make sure everything is good before we really get things kicked off here. Let's see here. Hitting the 2-minute mark, again, giving it 4 minutes, allowing people to get in, let the stream get flowing, let everything get buffered in. Not trying to waste anyone's time. But we do have a lot to cover. Like we said, big celebration today. XRP ETFs have crossed $1 billion, fastest since Ethereum. We did not break the record for the fastest, but still have 16 consecutive days of inflows with no outflows from the ETFs, and we'll cover the inflows just like we always do. Hopefully we get some more people in the chat going. Again, chat is the lifeblood of the stream. We got 10 people in the stream, again, starting at 4 minutes. We have Clint from Texas, and he says, yes, we can hear loud and clear. Perfect. So the stream audio is good. I see Daniel from Newcastle, UK. Welcome from the UK, Daniel. Let's see. Currently at the 3-minute mark, so I'm going to give it 1 more minute, and then we will get started. Again, those watching the replay can skip ahead to the 4-minute mark. Those of you live with me, thank you for your patience, as always. And we'll get everything covered. Lots of info. Got some new tax info, too. So I'll try to keep that as entertaining as possible. It's really hard to do tax info and keep that entertaining, but I digress. Still important information. I see Corey from New Zealand. Welcome, Corey. Appreciate you. Let's see. All right, so about another 20-30 seconds and we'll get going. George is in the house. What's going on, George? All right, I was just getting everything set up over here on the other screen. Well, I don't know. I look this way to see the chat, and I look this way to see the data. So it's like, try to keep it different angles and interesting as best I can for a one-man show here. Let's take a look here. All right, we are at the 4-minute mark, so I'm gonna go ahead and get things going. Hit this button so that stays up there for an extra second. And good afternoon, XRP Army. Welcome to the stream. If it is your first time here, kick back, relax. I'm not going to ask you to do anything, but if it's your second time, I need you to hit subscribe, smash the like button, and engage in the chat. The chat is the lifeblood of the stream. I run my stream the same way every time. First, we'll hop into the chart and see what XRP is doing in price, and we will diagnose that and go over it for as far as context purposes. As then we get into the ETFs, track the inflows, see what everything's doing as far as ETFs. And then we will cover all the news, what it means for XRP, and then we will hop into the chat, excuse me, I will go through every single chat. I will answer questions. I love talking with everyone. And then once I get through the entire chat, we'll do a recap, and then it turns into a chat party from there. We just hang out till we get bored. So that being said, we will hop into what's happening with price. We're having an excellent day. We had a nice run up. If you were here yesterday, we drew this channel. We came out of this channel and it came all the way up and hit the top of it, and now it's coming back down. So it does look like it's respecting this channel. We came up with this, or I came up with this really, just with pattern recognition, noticing the tops and the bottoms, and it does look like it's holding to this channel. We were talking about having a run up, or I was talking about having a run up to 220, and then a sell the news event with the rate cuts on Wednesday, because we already know we're gonna get a quarter basis point cut. It's already priced in. So I really do think we are going to have a sell the news event, unless we get like a surprise, half point, or a surprise, whatever, half point, 50 basis point, whatever they want to call it. If we get a 0.5% cut versus a quarter cut, we'll see a rise up, but I don't think we're going to get that. I think we're just going to get the quarter, and then we will have a sell the news event because of it, probably pull down to like 210 or something. Just my thinking from looking at it. Not financial advice, but that's what I'm seeing. So price doing well today. We're up. Again, we're not going to have anything till we get above 270 with volume. That's going to be our confirmation of a real breakout with XRP. Next step is to flip 220 and hold it, then 240 and hold it, then 260 and hold it. And then we really need to see that push above 270 with volume to confirm our breakout. That's what we are looking for. At least that's what I've been looking for and talking about since we had the crash back on October 10th. That being said, we're going to move into the ETF inflows because we finally did break 1 billion assets under management. Some people jumped the gun, including Brad. A lot of people were saying that they broke 1 million over the weekend or yesterday, and that actually did not happen. I believe it actually happened today. And we're going to cover all of that. So ETF inflows are still looking strong. Still not a single day of outflows for the XRP ETFs. They have not finished negative one day. That doesn't mean XRP is not being sold. That means that overall for the day, they're taking in more than they're actually sending out. So it's overall positive. Even with the price of XRP going down, the ETFs are still buying. And as you can see, everyone is up today with XRP being up. That's always a good sign because we want to see ETF inflows. When the ETFs are up, that means inflows are at a premium, and we should see a drastic jump. I don't know how drastic we're going to see, but we're going to see a jump from yesterday to today when we actually look at the physical holdings in trust. And welcome in, Race Fan. Welcome in, Clint. I see you all coming in. So again, engage in the chat. Everybody, chat's the lifeblood of the stream. I'm going to talk to every single one of you, but we need to get into the important details, and that is how much XRP is physically being held in supply. And we're going to take a look at that right now. So we went from 63 million to how much? Holy goodness, 78 million for Franklin Templeton. They went up 15 million since yesterday. Yeah, we definitely broke 1 billion last night / today, folks. As far as $1 billion worth of assets under management. But I mean, Franklin Templeton just added 15 million. Let's look and see what Grayscale has been doing here. They went from 103 million to how much? 104 million. So they added another million. Canary Capital's gone from 166 to 169 million. They added additional 3 million XRP. This is the Rex Osprey. It went from 30 million. Oh, Rex Osprey went down. Oh, wait. They got CoinShares back involved again. But they still went down a little bit. Okay, so we fit for the first time. Well, Rex Osprey's been kind of weird because they had the CoinShares thing, but they actually legitimately went down. Rex Osprey's did go down. I wonder if this is because people are cycling into the more traditional ETFs, maybe? I don't know, because this isn't necessarily a traditional spot ETF, but nonetheless, we do have an outflow. Our first one from the Rex Osprey one. We're going to go to Bitwise. They went from 91 million to 93 million. So Bitwise added additional 2 million. And we saw that very large increase from Franklin Templeton. So with all that, that would put us over roughly 400 and well, we went from 455 and we just added what, another 16 million. So 455, quick head math, 455 plus 16 million is 471 million XRP. Multiply that, apply the current price of $2.15. Anyone got a calculator and want to put it in chat, we can see exactly how much assets are under management. Again, currently at about 471 million, prices at 215. Someone put it in the chat. Let's see how much we have in assets under management. That being said, 21 Shares still has not announced their XRP ETF as far as when it's going to go live. The last we heard was 21 Shares saying they're waiting on the SEC to give them the green light and to wait for announcement from their socials, but still nothing as of right now for the 21 Shares XRP ETF. Let me get out of that. I don't know why I just did all that. That was disgusting. Moving on to the news, we do have news. XRP goes turbo, fastest US crypto ETF to hit 1 billion assets under management after Ethereum. Ripple CEO hails XRP as the fastest. Again, we just talked about this. I don't think they hit that until this was written. This was written this morning. Brad Garlinghouse said that on Sunday, I think, and I don't think we actually hit 1 billion assets under management until today. XRP becomes the fastest US crypto spot ETF to hit 1 billion assets under management since Ethereum, Ripple CEO says. Keeps talking about hitting the major milestone. Here was his tweet. Brad Garlinghouse, 4 weeks, and XRP is now the fastest crypto spot ETF to reach 1 billion asset under management since Ethereum. They're talking about the pent-up demand for regulated crypto products, which is definitely true, considering 1.01 billion, thank you, Corey Anderson, just crossed it today with the price increase and the additional assets under management that were updated this morning that we just confirmed. So we do have our confirmation that there is officially over $1 billion worth of XRP held under management right now. So we can get out of this because, and here's the thing though, we're talking about that. Actually, I'm not going to get out of this because it goes on to talk about key catalysts Vanguard's move to offer crypto ETFs. That just started 2 days ago, and Vanguard is allowing access to the Bitwise XRP ETF and Bitwise products, as well as Fidelity and BlackRock, which Fidelity and BlackRock do not have XRP ETFs. So the only XRP ETF Vanguard clients have access to is the Bitwise XRP ETF. However, there is something more important about that. Bitwise CIO again keeps talking. He says he sees crypto growing to a 10 to 20x over the next decade. I really think crypto growing as a 10x over the next year or two is probably realistic. I mean, that's just me personally. But I'm not going to read this whole article, but I mean, the CIO just keeps talking about how bullish he is on crypto. That being said, this is important. When we're talking about ETFs, I really want to touch base on this. So Bitcoin and XRP secure a fresh New York Stock Exchange exposure through the Bitwise index move. So Bitcoin and XRP got some more attention from Wall Street today. The 10 crypto index fund by Bitwise finally got the green light from regulators. So now they're starting to roll out the index funds, the spot index fund, the spot index crypto funds. And I think this is where we're going to get the most actual exposure to crypto from traditional investors. Because think about it, they don't want to figure out how much XRP to hold, how much Bitcoin to hold, how much Ethereum to hold, how much, which coin is good. A lot of them are just going to want to invest into a basket of products, and that's what these index funds are going to offer. If you look at the weighting of their fund, it's 75%, almost 74% Bitcoin. XRP is only 5% of this. I would like to see more of these index funds come out with some better weighting with XRP, and I think we will in the future. But I do think that the vast majority of investment is going to come from people investing into these kind of funds just to get a broad exposure to crypto. It makes the most sense in my head from a traditional investor standpoint. So I would like to see a lot more of those, and I would like to see a lot of those weighted towards XRP. So we've also been talking about the yen carry trade and the reverse carry trade, and it potentially unwinding and starting to unwind. However, I do think this is more realistic than Jake Claver's thoughts of how the reverse carry trade would go. This is kind of a more soft landing reverse carry trade. Says the borrowing near zero. It explains exactly what it is. I'm not going to bore you with all that. If you need updates on the reverse carry trade, I've got several videos on it. Just look on my channel. But let's see here. in discussing the build out, basically he's saying it's going to be more of a soft landing. It says you hear a lot of things, and then just as December cheer took hold, the old ghost returned. The yen carry trade began to unwind, spooking traders and knocking markets off balance. Japan is breaking the global financial system. This could be another Lehman. Suddenly, Japan is at the center of the world's financial anxiety, and central bank may finally raise rates after decades near zero, and that this single shift could rattle everything from Bitcoin to the S&P. Here's why: for years, investors have borrowed cheap yen, higher yielding assets, US stocks, treasuries, even crypto. But when the yen strengthens and borrowing costs rise, that free money trade flips. So it's explaining what the reverse carry trade is and why it's fueled. I want to get to the point where what changed. We talk about Japan triggering rate hikes. So I beat that ad nauseum. It's just explaining the entire thing. Very good article. You can pause later, rewatch it. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you. It's funny that they include words like ripple. Ripple through stocks and crypto and global liquidity. So we don't have perfect transparency, but conservative estimates put the core leverage carry trade in the hundreds of billions, with broader yen-funded exposure in the low trillions. That's enough size to create real selling pressure, move prices meaningfully, and temporarily tighten global liquidity. Plus, the transition could be violent. That is, carry trades unwind violently and then volatility rises, funding costs spike, currency moves become unstable, and margin calls trigger cascades. Those cascades can feel sudden, sharp, and emotionally brutal on the price charts. Just look at the nosedive Bitcoin took over the last few days, and it's explaining how bad it can look. It's saying this isn't 2008. There's no credit crisis. It's just funding repricing. So it's not, basically what he's saying is the reverse carry trade is real. It's going to have substantial impacts on the market, but it's going to have an impact of basically just repricing the markets. It's not going to have an all-out chaotic effect. So that's contrary to Jake Claver's thoughts on the reverse carry trade. It's another option of how it could possibly go. That being said, we covered this. Taxes. Everyone wants to know about taxes. So basically, you can read this whole article. It's on Yahoo Finance. I suggest you look it up if you have questions, but I'm going to make it very easy. Basically, if you buy right now, I'm going to use Bitcoin because it's easy, and I'm going to use even numbers. I know these aren't the prices. It's just for explanation. If you buy Bitcoin at $100,000 on Coinbase today, and you bought Bitcoin at $70,000 on Robinhood 2 years ago, right? And now the price of Bitcoin is $120,000, and you're holding your stuff in cold wallets. So now you take that Bitcoin in your wallet and transfer it to Coinbase. Say it was the Robinhood one that you purchased at $70K, right? You have the option of how you want to assign it, whether it was the one that was $70K or the one that was $100K. This makes a big deal for tax purposes. So, is it a $20,000 win versus a $50,000 win? You have the option. In the future with this new tax law, basically, wherever you took it out from, if you took it out from Coinbase and then regardless of wherever you sell it, it's going to be based on the price you paid on Coinbase, not what you bought it on another exchange. So if you purchased, one Bitcoin for $100,000 on Coinbase and you purchased 50 Bitcoin for $70,000 on Robinhood, and then you go to sell those on Coinbase, it's going to attack you the first time for the price of the Coinbase one. Or if you try to do it the other way, it's going to attack you. You see what I'm saying? You can go read it, but basically they're preventing people from going from exchange to exchange, switching their prices around to get the best deal. They're stopping that, if that makes sense. So if you have anything you want to offload, you should do it this year, is what they were saying. That's really all it is. And then this, I just did a short on the Solana ignites the XRP community after posting the iconic 589 number. So Solana triggered unexpected excitement across two major crypto communities after its official X account shared the number 589. The post surged past 2.8 million views within a day, creating the highest engagement Solana has recorded on its platform. The reaction grew because the number holds symbolic meaning for XRP supporters. Hence, the simple message triggered speculation, debate, and fresh discussions about deeper links between the two ecosystems. The moment also highlighted how fast crypto narratives can spread when large communities respond in real time. And you can see the tweet, they literally just put out the number 589. That was it. 2.8 million views in a day. The post quickly gained traction among XRP supporters because the number remains a central part of their culture. Since 2019, 589 has represented bold targets and ambitious expectations. And then they also went on to talk about potential partnerships and what it could mean, and why are they putting out this signal? So whether they're teasing something or not, they're messing with XRP, but I do think it's funny that here's the thing. Okay, if Solana is teasing a partnership, awesome, great for XRP. If Solana is not teasing a partnership and they're just trolling XRP, awesome, because they are that desperate that they are needing to engage with the XRP army to get their traffic up. That just shows you how big the XRP army is, good or bad. Regardless of the reasoning they're doing it, I still think it's good. That's just me. And again, none of this is financial advice. This is all just my opinion. And with all of that, I am going to hop into the chat because we have covered all the news. We covered the ETF inflows. We did officially cross 1 billion today. So let's go ahead and talk to the chat. Raul from Dallas is in the house. Clint from Texas is in the house. Let's see. Daniel Parker from Newcastle, UK is in the house. Corey Anderson from New Zealand. We got George. Good old George. George never fails. He's always here. Clint was hoping for no tax on crypto. That would be fantastic, but that was not what they were doing. They were finding a way to tax us more, unfortunately. Let's see here. Race Fan says, good afternoon from Florida. Brandon Seedling, when XRP hits $5, I'm going to send you a Minnesota Vikings chair to replace your Chiefs chair. Oh, man. I'll tell you what, I might consider it when the Vikings finally win a Super Bowl, Brandon. Let's see here. Daniel Parker says they will tax crypto, especially in the UK. It will be tax-free for banks and institutions, I personally believe. I really hope that's not the case, Daniel, and that would be really messed up if they find a way to do that. I don't see how they could say, for me and you, we have to pay taxes, but banks, they don't have to pay taxes on the same asset, especially when we kind of we've been front running the crypto market, us as retail investors, because institutions are just now getting involved. Let's see here. Fishman says, keep up the good fight. Skull reacting to Brandon's Minnesota Vikings. And if you guys, honestly, Brandon, if you want to buy me something, you don't have to buy me a Vikings chair. You can buy me a new microphone. I hate this damn thing. I've been messing with this thing for 2 days. Cynthia said, Corey Anderson let us know we got to 1.01 billion based on the assets we saw under management in the ETF trust and what the current price is. Cynthia says, thoughts on the real reason Jake's $100 price or $100 XRP price before 2025. He has an agenda. Is it as simple as drawing attention? He's believed in a lot of the things. He's talked about supply crisis and supply crunch. He's talked about the reverse carry trade. He's talked about the DTCC getting involved and wanting to settle the back end of the stock market first. Like, he called out all of those things. As far as, and what he has claimed is that he's talking to people behind the scenes, and he is in the, that who are in the know, and the conversations he's had have made him feel confident that these things are going to happen. So what do I like to rely on? Facts, figures, numbers, and logic. So you can take it for what you will. I will never call someone a liar. I don't know what conversations he's had or what he's been led to believe or any of those things, but based on the data that I can look at and that I can put in front of you, it looks like it would be a scheme for attention, one would think. That's common. That's common on YouTube, but I'm not going to sit here and say he's doing that. You can take all the information what you will, but that's why I like to put facts, figures, data in front of you. And speaking of facts, figures, data, I skipped over this. This was a BS article. You can tell by all the stuff, all the junk that's bouncing around on it. But that being said, they had this nice chart here. This was the inflows from November 14th to December 5th of XRP. I just like the way it would, break down, the way it broke down, and you can see all green, no red at all. That was the only reason I wanted to pull up that website. Back to the chat. Let's see here. Fed to reduce 25 points. Yep, that's what I expect too, Crypto Roger. I mean, there's a chance they could do 50, but if they only do 25 like we expect, I think we're going to have a sell the news event on Monday, or on Wednesday, excuse me. Corey Anderson says, I think Jake has enough XRP to not care if he's right. Exactly. He's been doing this for a year and a half, and I mean, he has built himself a very nice business. Crypto Roger said, I thought it was 750. He changed it. He had his initial bet of $25,000 that it was going to be 750 by the end of the year. But then he went and made a new bet of $1 million that it was going to be $100 by the end of the year. So I don't know who he's betting. He's not betting me, but I don't have $1 million to bet anyway. But still, I don't know any of that. I haven't watched any of it, but that's what I know of Jake Claver. Crypto Roger says, so expect a pullback on crypto tomorrow. I think so. I think we'll see a pullback in the market tomorrow. Not just crypto. Crypto just always has more volatile spikes, but I do think we're going to have some sell the news event tomorrow. Just my opinion, not financial advice, because we all know the rate cut's coming already. Daniel Parker says he has a digital asset company. It is his interest to bring people into crypto and to XRP. But hang on, okay. Sorry, the chat jumped on me. I lost my place in it. Daniel Parker says, but if he is right, then I wouldn't be angry. I wouldn't be angry either. And I say that every stream when I get asked about Jake's predictions. I say, I don't agree with them. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I'm not going to be mad if it does. I mean, it's great for me. It'd be great for all of you, I would hope too. Dragonizable says Solana is making fun of XRP. That's the message. I don't think so. I don't think they're trying to poke the bear, Dragonizable. That's just my opinion. Race fan says Jake Claver's prediction is hopium sprinkled with pixie dust laced with Lucy in the sky with diamonds. That's a very colorful representation of it. Corey Anderson says Solana doesn't work very well. They need XRP. There's a possibility that they've been I don't want to say they've been underperforming in their ETFs. They're still performing well. They're just not performing at the level of XRP. Stephen Hayes says holding XRP is like being a Cowboys fan. We always have to say next year will be our year. You guys have been saying that for about 30 years, huh? Poor Cowboys. I feel for your tortured souls though. The playoff misery was, I lived that as a Chiefs fan for a very, very long time. The going to the playoffs every single year and losing and never having anything come from it. That was the Chiefs' purgatory for a long time. Dragonizable says, I mean, Solana said XRP is the biggest scam coin in history not long ago. They can say whatever they want. I mean, it's in their best interest to try and deface XRP, honestly. That's why I think it's hilarious that they're trying to, if they are indeed, in fact, trolling XRP by putting that number out there, I think it's pretty hilarious that they are that desperate for attention that they have to rely on trolling the XRP army to get some attention. Because their project is underwhelming right now. Let's see here. Race fan believes that by the end of the year, we are going to have $4 to $9 XRP. I hope so. Crypto Roger says, hit the likes, peeps. Yeah, I appreciate every single one of you for being here. If someone could let me know how many people are in the stream, I'm going to get ready to do the recap here. The energy's been feeling really, really good. The streams have been ramping up. They've been growing every single day, and that's thanks to every single one of you. And I am going to have some stuff rolling out for you all probably next week. And as a special thank you to all the people who show up every single day. I know that some of you are missing today. Tuesdays are typically a little slower, and that's fine. Mondays are always really great. But for those of you who are here every single day, more than likely next week memberships are going to be rolling out, and I'm going to set it up specifically for you guys. So that way, the first membership, the only membership available, is going to be an entry-level membership just for the people who helped me get to this point and help me grow. And you guys are going to be grandfathered into everything that comes down the line. And again, in the same XRP scheme, the next 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now, as my channel grows, those initial members are going to have access to everything. That will be my thank you to you all for sticking with me as we build the channel and grow out. But aside from that, we are going to hop into the recap for everyone who came in late. I appreciate every single one of you. We are going to hop into it right now and talk about price. To start off, we are currently sitting at just under 216. We had a nice spike up. This was due to a lot of shorts being liquidated, both in Bitcoin and XRP. This did follow Bitcoin. So we did have a nice run up this morning. Bunch of shorts were liquidated, causing these spikes. Brought us back into the trend channel that we are tracking. We started tracking this yesterday, and it looks like it did dip below it, but came back in and held very nicely right on trend. You can see here. So we're going to continue to watch this and see if it builds out. Again, we expected for XRP to get to about the 220 level by tomorrow, and then when rate cuts are officially announced, we'll have a sell the news event, probably down to about 212 to 210 or so. That's what I'm expecting. Not financial advice. We went over and covered all of the XRP ETF inflows. We finally did break $1 billion worth of assets under management. We did the calculation here in the chat, and we established, after going through all of the ETF inflows, I'll do it for you again here. Franklin Templeton jumped all the way up to 78 million. Grayscale now at 104 million. Canary Capital up to 169 million. Rex Osprey is the first one to show an outflow, falling about 1 million. Don't know why. Not sure why. This isn't a true spot XRP ETF though. So a lot of people aren't tracking that one, but I still keep an eye on it. Just like I do think the index crypto funds are going to be highly important because they're going to lock up XRP, and I think that's going to get the most exposure to, random investors. Bitwise is up to 93.8 million XRP. Still no announcement on 21 shares and Wisdom Tree on when they are going to go live. But all that being said, we added everything up. We came up with a rough estimate of 771 XRP currently being held in trust. And at the current price of $2.15, that brought us to a total of $1.01 billion worth of assets under management, meaning it has officially crossed the $1 billion mark of inflows. We talked about the IRS and taxes. Unfortunately, I know that's boring as hell, but we do need to worry about taxes as our old crusty people, that we are. We're not a bunch of young kids anymore. We have to pay taxes. So that being said, it's better to sell this year if you're going to sell, is basically what they're saying. We covered the Solana post. We covered the straight days of inflows still, and these are tracking the 4 pure spot XRP ETFs, not the Rex Osprey one. That's what most people are tracking. So again, pure ETF inflows, not a single day of outflows represented. Bitwise CIO is predicting a 10 to 20x over the next decade for crypto. Again, we were talking about potential 10x in the next year or two for the crypto market, just talking about the overall market cap for crypto. This was talking about, what was this talking about? We talked about that. Oh, the yen carry trade, the different type of yen carry trade, the more realistic type of yen carry trade that we're going to see, that I believe, not necessarily what Jake Claver is predicting. And then also talking about the index funds for crypto, these basket ETFs that are probably, these are what people are going to do with their retirement funds and things like that. They're going to want a broad investment into crypto. They're going to want to hold a basket of assets, not try to identify which one is best for them. So I think we'll see a lot of money start flowing into those index ETFs. That being said, that is everything that we covered. Price is still doing well, and now we're just gonna hang out in the chat here. Let me take a look. Dragon Oswald, let's see. Says Solana said XRP is the biggest scam coin in history not long ago. Race Fan says he thinks that XRP is going to be $4 to $9 by the end of the year, which I really hope he's right. There's 33 people in the stream. Dragon Oswald said, I mean, Jake could be right. Only 97, 85 to 100 still possible. I'm not really following your comment, but I mean, anything's possible. These are technology. They're not going to move like traditional stocks that we are aware of. I mean, it's really difficult to put the value on something that is a transfer of value. So it's really going to come down to what's being held and utilized on the XRP ledger. And that's why I've been really preaching. We need to see utility before we see any real possibility of what XRP can be. It's got to start moving the value. I mean, they constantly say an internet of value, and XRP is, it's the bridge between traditional finance and the internet of value. Daniel Parker would love an early Christmas present. So would I. Dragon Iswell says, imagine you wake up and see 100 bugs and see a 100 bugs on XRP. Would you be like a dream? And see a 100 bugs. I don't know what you're talking about, Dragon Iswell. Oh, I'm guessing you mean $100 on XRP. If I woke up and saw $100 XRP, honestly, do you know what the first thing I would do? If I woke up and saw a $100 XRP, the very first thing I would do would run to my computer and start a stream. That's exactly what I would do. Kristen Anderson says, imagine Ripple buys Solana. Oof. I mean, they got the money to do it. Or a merger. I mean, that is a possibility. I am actually shocked that Ripple has not acquired another cryptocurrency yet. I've been waiting for something like that to happen with the amount of money they have. Like I've been waiting for them to acquire another crypto or merge with another crypto. That, I mean, if they were to do something like that, just think of the appreciation of the asset price if Ripple were to somehow do that. I don't know. I don't they created RLUSD though, and when I say if they acquire another crypto, I'm talking about to merge and utilize with the XRPL. They're not going to replace the XRPL with another crypto. They've built way too much on XRP. If they acquire anything, I think it would be in addition to facilitate XRP. My opinion, not financial advice. Well, there's already XRP2. What's XRP2, Dragonizable? Who's loading up on Axelar? Not I. Corey Anderson be pissed if they bought Solana. Solana owners would be ecstatic if Ripple bought Solana. But I mean, they do the same thing, and XRPL is superior to Solana's blockchain. It just is. Never sell. If you sell, only sell 5 to 10% to have liquid cash, but then lend against it. I am of the buy and die tribe of my XRP. I have zero plans on selling any of it. I plan on borrowing about 20% of it, so I have no risk of ever being liquidated or margin called. And then once they roll out native staking on the XRPL, hopefully once Ripple gets their banking charter or their Fed Master account, they'll offer some kind of native staking for XRP directly through Ripple. That would be the direction I would go for that. So that way you could just custody your XRP with Ripple and get a yield on it. I mean, that's the dream scenario for me, and I do think that will happen eventually. Dragon Eyes will say, you don't know, XRP2 is ATM and 565. Google it. I'll take a look at it. I'll see what XRP2 is. I will take a look. Not right now though, not on the stream. We have covered all of the information, and yeah, that's everything. The stream is dying down. Chat is dying down. I'm going to go ahead and call it. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at noon. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, please. And leave comments, chats. Love you all. Later. Bye.